Hi, Dr. John Shea here with some important information regarding the COVID-19 vaccine and some of the side effects and reactions that people are hearing about, as well as the new virulent strain that is showing up in the United States. So it's some important information. The breaking news today is that variant B.1.1.7, which is much more infective and spreads more easily, is now in the United States in multiple states, including California. It started in Colorado, but it's also in Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, and of course here in California and numerous other states. Originally, it was thought it was in the UK, discovered in December, and probably been circulating since September. So the numbers are going up and spreading, and people are being affected by it. It's still a real thing. It's not a political thing. Let's not politicize it. It's out there. Do we know the best course? Do we know really what should be done? Lockdowns or not, closing schools or not, wearing masks or not? Really what we can do is just do our part, do our best. If the authorities right now want us to try to reduce the spread by wearing a mask and social distancing, let's do our part. So, and again, not to politicize it, but the variant is out there and it's more effective, and it's spreading now, and it's in the United States. So do our part. Of course, the vaccine is available now, and hopefully they're getting it out. It's a little bit slow rolling out as of this date, January 15, 2021. But that is one of the hopes that we have on the horizon. So in the aesthetic field, which I'm in, with the rejuvenative medicine, regeneration and such, one of the things that have come up is that there are reports about facial swelling, a reaction with people who've had fillers and then got the vaccine. So it was in the Moderna trials. They had 15,184 people that were in this trial. And in it, 3 people had facial swelling associated with fillers. They don't know how many people had fillers in the 15,000 people, but we do know that 3 people had a reaction. One was a 51-year-old lady who had fillers 2 weeks prior and then had swelling 2 days afterwards. Another lady was 46 years old, had fillers in her face a few months prior, and then the day after had swelling in her face. And then the third person was a 29-year-old woman who had lip fillers, and the day after her lips swelled up with the angioedema, so her lips really swelled up. And so these are the reactions that they're seeing with people who've had fillers. And so this has caused a lot of concern. The media picked it up and started making a big deal about it. But if you really look at the data and how many people it happened, and 3 out of 15,184 people is not a dramatic number of people that we suddenly have to sound the alarm on. The other thing as well, how many of those people had fillers? Of note was that the Pfizer trial, there were none of these reports regarding fillers and swelling and reactions. Now, it is important to understand that vaccines are triggering an immune response in the body. So the immune system is responsible for doing things like that would cause swelling and these reactions, and having things that go on, right? So it's not uncommon that you have some type of response at the time, shortly after you rev up your immune system, because you've stimulated it by introducing a particle of a virus that's foreign to the body. So it's reacting to it, it's charging up, it's becoming a lot more reactive. So the side effects are real. They do happen anyway. So people have sore arms, they get low-grade fever sometimes they feel sick for a day or two. So these things are occurring anyway. And regarding fillers, it's not necessarily something that we need to be extremely freaked out about, but something to watch. So one of the other things is people always they've been calling me a lot, asking me, what do I think about these vaccinations and what's the difference, and is there one we prefer? So I thought I'd run down a comparison between the 2 vaccines from Pfizer versus Moderna on different characteristics of it. One of them is the target. The target population of Pfizer is 16 years old and up, whereas Moderna is for 18 years old and up, although Moderna is now testing it on 12 to 17-year-olds as well. So again, none of these vaccines for children. It's for young adults and up. Pfizer about age 16, Moderna age 18 and up. Efficacy means how effective they are. They're pretty similar. Pfizer's at 95% effectiveness versus Moderna at 94% or 94.1%. So about 1% off. Pfizer beating out a little bit. Pfizer measured it 7 days after the second dose. Moderna measured it 14 days after the second dose, but both pretty effective. Now, the interval between the first and second shot, because you need 2 shots on here, is at Pfizer's 21 days versus Moderna's 28 days. So you wait a little bit longer to get your second one from Moderna. Now, the dose, the amount of vaccine in the different ones are significantly different. So Pfizer is 30 micrograms and Moderna is 100 micrograms. So it's more than 3 times the amount of vaccine in a Moderna dose. So they're giving you a lot more, but it's not more effective, right? It's actually was almost 1% less effective than the Pfizer one, but yet they're giving more than 3 times the dose. So that is one interesting thing. Pregnancy safety. There's been animal studies they start with when they looked at pregnancy. Moderna has completed their animal studies and they showed that there was no issue with pregnancy. Pfizer has some interim data that doesn't show any issues as well. So hopefully it's going to show that it's safe for women who are pregnant. These were animal studies. Now, some of the question is like, well, which one should I get? And why does one facility carry Moderna, why Pfizer? Well, some of it has to do with the storage requirements. So storing the Pfizer vaccine, it has to be stored in negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit. And once they thaw, it has to be used in 5 days. If you have the Moderna one, it's just stored in your freezer in a regular freezer at minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just a normal freezer temperature. If you thaw it and put it in the refrigerator, it's good for 30 days. And if you leave it at room temp, it's good for about 12 hours. So it's something much more easier to handle by a facility all over, just any facility could carry that pretty easily. The Pfizer one, you're going to need some liquid nitrogen or special freezers for that. Now, the other issue is the minimum order. When these facilities order it. With the Pfizer, you have to have 975 doses. It's 5 doses per vial. It's a lot of vials, and that's a lot that you need to store in a special freezer or liquid nitrogen type of a device. So that's a little bit tough to deal with. Bigger facilities will have that. Moderna, they only need to have 100 dose minimum order, 10 doses per vial, so that's 10 vials, and you just keep it in the freezer. There's room in anybody's freezer for that. So that's the comparison between the two. Pretty similar. You might get one versus the other. Storage requirements might be one of the issues of why a facility has one versus the other. Regarding the reactions to fillers in the face, it's not a significant amount. It was only 3 cases out of 15,000 that showed up in. And then the more infective strain B.1.1.7 is now spreading in the United States. So please be safe. Do what you can to protect yourself and be well. Like and subscribe. We've got some great information that'll be rolling out and that's going to cover a lot of different parts of our health. So be well. God bless.